mentioned something in passing.
Yeah.
The whole door-to-door sales thing.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Brutal.
I actually had to start in my teenage years with that. And it was truly transformative for me.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience for you.
Oh, man. So that was the best and worst experience of my life.
Okay.
I had no idea that people lived in these kinds of houses. Like, it was actually humbling.
What were you selling?
So we're selling security.
Security.
And so we would go to very, poor, crime-ridden areas.
Places that needed security.
Yeah, and exactly. And I got dropped off the first day. And what they do is, you're going out there and you're like, oh, it'll be great, et cetera. And they drive you out, get out of the car, and they're like, see you in 8 hours. And they drive off. And you're out there by yourself. And so at first, it was really hard because, I don't know, when you talk about stuff, but then actually doing it is obviously way different.
Oh, yes.
So when I went up to the door and you knock and you see them see you and they're kind of like this, and then they start walking over, your heart is like, boom, boom, boom. And they open like, what do you want? And just everything you thought that was in your head is completely gone. And so I spent about 2 months doing that, which was the hardest because you're having no success. Like, I'm just getting rejected. They'd ask me a question, and, in person, you pause too long, they know you don't know what you're talking about. So they're like, well, why should I get this system over this? And I'm like, like,
where's my notes?
Yeah, they're like, dude, I got to go.
Yeah.
So that was the hard part, but I stuck with it, and I did it for about 8 months. And by the time I got to the third-ish month, I really started clicking, and it was super hard. I mean, it didn't change. I had a situation where a guy pulled a gun on me. I had a situation where a guy pulled a knife on me. And it would be for stupid reasons. Like, I was like, oh, your neighbor Bill down the street just got one. And he's like, why is Bill telling you my effing name? I'm like, dude, I'll leave. But crazy stories. But I think it really taught me that was the hardest thing, even harder than football, because mentally you're knocking on 100 doors a day. You're lucky if you get one person to say yes. And you're in the hot sun. It's 100+ degree heat. It's the summer. I was in Alabama. Oh, so, I mean, you're just sweating through everything. And sometimes you're just trying to get in the house so you can get some AC. Mm-hmm. But there's a difference, I think, between there'd be reps who would kind of sit down all day. Mm-hmm. And then there would be the reps like me and my brother who would actually just work the whole time. I go, man, I'm already out here. Mm-hmm. Like, I got to do it because otherwise I'm just wasting my own time. And so when I finally switched to online business sales, I was like, man, like, how do people complain about this? This is a joke. I went from $500 to 3,000 plus, and I got more yeses, and it was less resistance. And I'm like, these people actually want what I'm selling. Like, door to door, the benefit is if you can sell something that that someone doesn't want or they're not expecting. Mm-hmm. When you get a good lead, I look at high ticket sales, and I'm like, you guys are so spoiled. You guys have no idea how hard it is to sell. So it was one of the hardest experiences of my life. I almost quit because we had one day where I had 3 deals, and then you have a technician go and put the deal in. Okay. And he botched 2 of the deals. So the clients are calling me like, I don't want it anymore. Yeah. And I freaked out. I mean, I let it.
You're like, wait a minute. I just invested all this time, energy trying to get the yes.
I lit his ass up. I was so upset. And I remember our sales leaders kind of like, Tanner, like, relax. No, dude, I'm not fucking killing myself and this and that. And this guy just ruined all my deals. But luckily my brother was there, my younger brother, who's actually stepping in as CEO. And he was like, dude, like, you got to stay, like, just finish. But it all worked out how it was supposed to, because when it finally ended and we had like a little break, I was going to go into full-time sales. And that little break is when I bought that program. And I was just 16 hours a day on that. And then I started making money the first week. I was like, dude, I just made more money in a week than I've made in the last 3 months.